All right. So at this point in the year, um, we felt like we'd kind of, used the turbo alignment for everything it was worth for the time being. We weren't going to scrap it completely, but we needed something different because we were going into a game with a really good team, one of our conference rivals, and we really needed something in our back pocket in terms of a 2 point play. So I will tell you at first, sitting there on Sunday, I had the idea of maybe some kind of reverse pass out of a formation similar to this. And we'd start, our backup quarterback about where you see the kicker is, and he'd come on that path and we'd snap it to the holder and so you get the idea. Um, I went away from that just because the more I watched how teams defend us out of things like this, you get such a hard upfield rush designed to pressure the guy taking the snap as soon as possible. Basically, we'd be running a reverse right into that guy, those upfield defenders, and I look like an idiot because I'm trying to do something fancy instead of something effective. So this was something else that I came up with. I texted, I texted our head coach on Monday morning. I was like, you know what? I slept on this. I hate it. So here's the next. Here's something else I think is a little bit more sound, gets the ball out quickly, and is a little easier, high percentage throw. Again, this is a brand new alignment in some respects, obviously. The important point, one of the important points, is that the heavy side is still in the exact same place. It's the same distance from the long snapper. We still have the right tackle aligning to the near upright, and so we still have the side snap available to us if the defense, for whatever reason, completely overloads that right side. If they've got like 4 or 5 guys trying to come off the edge, we left it up to the holder to make that call. Uh, I'm sorry, our right wing. And speaking of that, our right wing on this play was our backup quarterback. Now, our backup quarterback was an incredible athlete. He also ended up playing long snapper for us. He was actually the long snapper um, on the second Charger clip that I showed you earlier. He played. He was our personal protector a good portion of the year on our punt team, and he also returned a lot of kickoffs. So, he's a guy who can get to that edge quickly, and if things broke down, he still had a chance to get to the pylon. Um, Now, as it played out, this worked out for us. We did score on this play. It was something brand new that the defense hadn't seen. It didn't really develop so that I don't know that he would have gotten a chance to get to the pylon based on how they played it. But of course, if you lined up quickly in this, um, that's always a possibility, and it's always a possibility that they completely screw up. So again, we left it to the quarterback to make that call. If they've got 5 guys sitting outside the tight end, then we're not trying to run them up into an upfield rush. He just called purple, and we still have that. um, Now, that being said, I mentioned going real fast a second ago, and I talked about the importance of not going too fast most of the time, and you're going to see why here in a second. I told our kicker, all week in practice. I said, listen, man, we've had you on our right side all year long. Whenever we've run any play like this, um, so when we put you on the left, they're not going to see you. They're not going to have prepared for that. So you need to draw as much attention to yourself as possible. I told him to stand there and wave his arms. If you're uncovered, you wave your arms and you make somebody come cover you. So that way, obviously, we've got one fewer guy we got to deal with. Um, this is important, and this is why I brought up earlier at the beginning. Make sure your kicker understands the basic rules of football, because he's a really smart kid, but he's not a football player. He had never even kicked a football until he walked in our locker room in fall camp. So he didn't understand the importance of keeping his feet absolutely set. Now, fortunately, like I said, we're not running motion on this play, so him moving his feet, technically he's allowed to do that, but obviously we want him to keep his feet set. So I addressed that with him afterwards. But it's just a reminder of all the things that you better make sure you cover everything as a coach. And that's something that I struggle with as a lot of people do too. And it's not his fault, right? Because he doesn't know. I'm the coach. I'm supposed to tell him. So again, we weren't penalized. We scored. We were able to tie the game in the second half on this. Unfortunately, we weren't able to win the game. Um, but this was crucial for us. There's nothing better than having something in your back pocket in a key situation, and the defense has no clue what's going to happen, right? So that's where it came in handy for us. So let's go to the film. All right, so here's the play. I'm gonna go ahead and let it run once, just so you can see how it plays out, and we score. Um, First thing, obviously, down here, that this is our kicker, like we talked about. He's all the way to the left. He was standing there. They started the camera late here because he was standing there for a good 5 seconds before anybody covered him. All right, so he gets their attention, and if you notice, look at his feet. His feet are still moving about a millisecond before the snap. The other thing too, um, it, this isn't really this doesn't have anything to do with the success of the play, but I realized as we were running guys out there um, that the one of the guys, the guy who was supposed to be here, basically, had been injured very recently on this drive where we go down and score, um, and so I grabbed this kid who had played, who actually played a lot on the wing on PAT field goal quite a bit. So if we had to reload, he'd be fine. But he didn't practice this play. But all I told him was, listen, go stand behind the left guard. That's all I need you to do, because we were most likely not going to snap it left. Obviously, you look at the alignment here; it doesn't make sense to snap it to that guy. Um, so I told him, I grabbed him literally as we were running guys on the field. I said, "Hey, Sean, just go stand behind the left guard, the right guard. That's all I need you to do. Just stand there." Our quarterback got him, aligned properly. He uh, he just gave him a good enough, the threat of the side snap. But obviously, the real play here is the way that this guy, who normally was our holder, but obviously this is our backup quarterback. He's taking the snap. Is the way that he runs the route and avoids at the last second, slips past the defender trying to set the edge, and take away the what he thinks is a quarterback run, and he gets open. The idea here was to basically, in simple terms, put everybody to the left and give our quarterback plenty of room to the right to navigate and run if he had the option to. Does a good job staying flat, and giving himself the option. If the numbers play out differently to that side, and the tight end blocks that first edge defender because there's nobody else to block. um now he's got a wide open lane into the end zone if he wants it. So at that point, it doesn't matter. So that's another way it could play out. These guys are really disciplined, and they're really well coached, and so they did a good job, getting lined up to it and having numbers. But it's really, that's a really tough route to defend if you're going to chase that route over the top like he's trying to do here. The way we blocked it, it's really tough. So it's, yeah, again, it's easy to look like a genius when you're running something that they've never seen before, and there's no way they could have prepared for it. But that's about as good of a job as you could do lining up against it. It's just, I just think it's a good play. And again, more importantly, our guy, his name's Brady. He's actually our head coach's son. Made a lot of big plays for us at receiver this year. Um, More importantly, the way he runs that route and avoids and gets vertical past the goal line at the last second as he avoids the upfield rush. That's what makes the play here. So anyway, great job by him. As you see, the guy I told to stand behind the guard, um, Yeah, he doesn't have to do anything, so he just gets to watch the play. We score, we tie the game, and everybody's excited. I'm very excited, obviously, um, and so that was a great moment for us. But again, I think this is a cool play. I think this is something that pretty much anybody can run. If you have a really athletic guy at that position, taking the snap and who can throw the ball, obviously it's even better. But this is one of those plays. Again, we're talking about the situation where maybe your starting quarterback is injured and you're in a place where you need a 2-point play. Well, you don't need a quarterback to be able to throw. This is not a difficult pass to throw. He just needs to be able to practice it and understand he's probably going to have to get the ball out quick. So we'll go to the next play.